rode to my house, went up the stairs to my wife. I had a cup of tea and soon got to sleep. That's a little indication. Hopefully you can follow that along. I've got lots of possible Cockney stories that I could share another time. So here's a couple of Irish stories, because I love to do Irish stories, particularly on St. Patrick's Day. Here's the first one. I met a man the other day named Flanagan, and I said, "You're a happy man." He said, "I am." I said, "Why?" "Well," he said, "the income tax people have been after me for 20 years, driving me mad to get money out of me, driving me crazy with worry. But this morning I got a letter from them, and it said, 'Final notice.' Thank God I won't be hearing from them again." Here's another little story. A Swiss man on holiday in Dublin needed directions. He was standing outside David Byrne's pub when he saw two youths walking by, so he stops them and asks, "Entschuldigen, können Sie Deutsch sprechen?" The two lads looked at each other blankly and stared back at him. "Excusez-moi, parlez-vous français?" he tries. The two continue to stare. "Parla italiano?" Still absolutely no response from the two lads. "Hablan usted español?" The Dublin lads remain totally silent. The Swiss guy walks off extremely disappointed and downhearted that he had not been understood. One of the boys turns to the second and says, "You know, maybe we should learn a foreign language." "Why?" says the youth. "That guy knew 4 languages, and he didn't do him any good whatsoever." Next, I'd like to do what I call a little bit of Scottish from Robbie Burns, the great poet of Scotland. Just a wee doch and Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. Just a wee doch and Doris, afore ye gang awa'. There's a wee wifey waiting in a wee button ben. If you can say it's a bro bricht moonlicht nicht, then ye are recht, ye ken. And here's just a little bit from his poem, Red, Red Rose. Oh, my love's like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. Oh, my love's like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. Next, I've got a little story from what I call a voice of an elderly gentleman. And this is what he says. God grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway, the good fortune to run into the ones that I do, and the eyesight to tell the difference. And here's something from an Irma Bombeck story, really to get the voice of an interviewer, a daughter or granddaughter, and an elderly lady. And it's called Guess You Just Had to Have Known Gladys. Tell me, Grandma, how ever did you manage to grow so old, yet stay so young? Gladys leaned her warm, wrinkled face in closer to mine, her grey eyes shining behind her metal-framed glasses. Well, I'll tell you, Diane.
a long time ago, a nurse told me that if you laugh a lot, you live longer. So I laugh a lot, and my 4 boyfriends keep me going."
"Your 4 boyfriends?" I exclaimed.
"Oh, haven't I told you? Well, every morning I get up with willpower. Then I go for a walk with arthritis. I come home with Charlie horse. Then I go to bed with my favourite, Ben Gay."
One of my favourite writers and storytellers is Shel Silverstein. And I'm just going to do a couple of Shel Silverstein stories, just the beginnings of them. This one is my very favourite. It's called Sick, Little Girl Who Didn't Want to Go to School. And this is the beginning of that Sick.
"I cannot go to school today,"
said little Peggy Ann McKay.
"I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And oh, there's one more. That's 17. Don't you think my face looks green?"
And then another one, a little boy this time, who thinks he's particularly smart, but you'll hear he's not really that smart at all.
"My dad gave me a $1 bill, 'cause I'm his smartest son, and I swapped it for 2 shiny quarters, 'cause 2 is more than 1.
And here's another one from Shel Silverstein called My Rules. It's a young lady who's kind of getting ready to get married.
"If you want to marry me, here's what you'll have to do. You must learn how to make a perfect chicken dumpling stew. And you must sew my holy socks and soothe my troubled mind, and develop the knack for scratching my back, and keep my shoes spotlessly shined. And while I rest, you must rake up the leaves, and when it is hailing and snowing, you must shovel the walk, and be still when I talk. And hey, where are you going?"
I also enjoy stories by a gentleman called Jack Prelutsky, who is similar in some ways to Shel Silverstein. And here's one of his short stories, just a portion from it, called I Wish My Father Wouldn't Try to Fix Things Anymore.
My father's listed everything he's planning to repair. I hope he won't attempt it, for the talent isn't there. He tinkered with the toaster when the toaster wouldn't pop. Now we keep it disconnected, but we cannot make it stop.
And here's another from Jack Prelutsky, one of my real all-time favorites, called Captain Conniption. I'm Captain Conniption, the scourge of the sea. No pirate alive is as fearsome as me. I'm 10 times as tough as the skin of a whale. The sharks cringe in terror wherever I sail. Well, that's just a little selection there of just some of the voices that I like to use. You can find more examples of past recordings on my website, thebritishvoicetalent.com, or my YouTube channel, Neil Scott-Barbour. I'm available for both corporate, personal, or family video or audio, recorded or live. Neil at thebritishvoicetalent.com or 404-509-5717 if you'd like to get in touch with me. Thanks so much for watching. This was Neil Scott-Barbour, the British Voice Talent.